my experience obviously relates to my 20 or 21-year-old son, Mac McArdle. My son struggled with a heroin addiction for a period of time. And after some very bad medical problems as a result, he did spend some time in the hospital. Basically in the summer of 2013. After that, it was followed by a treatment center, which I took him to a treatment center in Indianapolis. He was clean and sober from opiates, from heroin, for a period of time. To tell this story, and again, it's imperative that you know I'm not pointing fingers in any way, but this experience just kind of needed to come out. I took him to the hospital in mid-January of the end of last year. He was being hospitalized for pancreatitis, which was a painful condition. He had been clean from heroin for a period of time, and I had to take him to the hospital to be treated for pancreatitis in mid-January. The experience was just something that I wanted to sit and tell Dr. McMahon in the way that when he was finally admitted into a room, he was treated and approached by the medical staff, which are angels and good people. The nurse was in the room with my son and I, and she informed him that he would be treated to treat the symptoms of his pancreatitis, according to the protocol and of course the physician on hand. That he would be treated with Dilaudid, and he clearly and loudly, I might add, explained, "I am a heroin addict and I have been clean from heroin and opiates for a period of time." And he was very clear in his words that he walked into that hospital room and clearly announced to this nurse that he was a heroin addict. And he can't have opiates introduced into his system. The nurse, wonderful, and again, I'm not pointing fingers, obviously was following all medical protocol and clearly explained to my son that the physician's orders handed down are the protocol according to the treatment for your symptoms of pancreatitis. The argument ensued, and I can just tell you that by the end of the day, and I being in the room, of course my son was 21, so of course by law I didn't have a chance to pipe in a whole lot, but he was very clear in his message that he did not want opiates, and he knew the danger ahead. Later that day I spoke with him on the phone after I left the hospital, and you could pretty much sense the fear, because by now they had basically convinced him that this was the safe and proper way to treat your symptoms. He succumbed to the idea, and it was basically sold to him very hard. Talked to him on the phone later that evening, and I could pretty much hear the fear in his voice. Within a week to 10 days after he came home from the hospital to my home, he had follow-up prescriptions. I found evidence of needles within that first week. I came to find out he was crushing the prescribed medication and injecting it for its quicker response. This is a common, I think, thing that occurs in heroin addicts. Not only are they addicted to the opiate, they're addicted to the needle. In any case, this was obviously a fearful time. The insanity seemed to have returned quickly. My son died on Valentine's Day, on February 14th. I'm sorry. I have to be clear in saying that, again, I have no one to blame. That is my last thought. This addiction is fatal. It doesn't only make you sick and tired, it's fatal. And I just know at that moment in the hospital, when he was being convinced that it would be a safe procedure to treat him with an opiate, had the results that would have in any opiate or heroin addict. This experience is real. It isn't meant to blame. To this day, I wish I could have said more. I wish I could have stepped in. So I have regrets. Am I grieving? Yes. Maybe some innermost part of me is just using this talk with Dr. McMahon as a part of grieving. But the message is clear. And if it can increase the awareness that I think is growing in the medical community, the medical profession, not just here, everywhere, then perhaps it could be a message well received.